to this week's video. For this week's video, I wanted to talk about a little something that has been irking me in the Outlander fandom. And let me just say, I'm an author myself, so what I'm about to speak of, I know of what I speak. I live it, I understand it, maybe not to the level of the person that I'm going to talk about today, but I understand it. And it is these people who are constantly harping on Diana Gabaldon to finish Go Tell the Bees, and who are constantly asking her, is it done? Is it done? Is it done? In my most heartfelt way, I'm going to say, stop it. It is the equivalent of your child constantly asking you, if you're driving, are we there yet? Constantly asking you, is dinner ready yet? As an author, I can say, we love the fact that you want to read our books. We love the fact that you're waiting for our next book. However, constantly asking us when the next book is coming, it's not the positive, high praise kind of encouragement that you may think that it is. Now, Diana Gabaldon writes big books. We're not talking about your standard fiction novel that's like 300 to 400 pages. This woman writes big damn books, like 800, I think Fiery Cross was like 1,000 words, I'm not sure. You could build a house with this woman's books, like they're bricks. So, these books take some time. And it's a thing when like newbies ask, you know, questions that they may not have ever seen answered. And then like people jump on them, and that's not okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the specific harping of, is the book done yet? If you're a newbie, there is any number of social media places you can go where Diana posts, her Facebook, her Twitter, where anytime she posts, especially usually, but anytime she posts about bees, when she posts like her daily lines or anything like that, she specifically puts in the hashtags, no it's not done yet, I'll let you know when it's done. So that information is out there if you're a newbie and you want to know. She's still writing it. She's still writing it, people. And there are these, I've seen posts about how she's always bitching out readers for constantly asking her and complaining about like how busy she is, and that like she's not grateful for, you know, being as successful as she is, and she sees it as like a hindrance. That's not the vibe I get at all. I get the vibe that, and I'm sorry, if you're on her social media, you see people constantly asking, When is it done? When is it coming? When is it? Again, it's wonderful to know that a reader is waiting for your book. It's not so wonderful when a reader is constantly pressuring you to finish the book. Because I defy anyone. Writing is one of the hardest jobs in the sense of the amount of discipline that it requires and the amount of mental attention that it requires. And there are people who, I saw a post where somebody was saying that she was complaining about like having all these things to do and blah blah blah, when it's her job to write the book. That's what set me off. Because it is not her job to be chained to her computer like a robot and stay there typing for you until the book is finished. That is like half her job. The other half is the stuff you see on social media, is going to these events and doing these talks and all these other like parts of promotion, I guess, for lack of a better word, and marketing. That is also her job, and that stuff takes time. She is incredibly lucky that she has a big publisher behind her. However, publishing today is not the same as it was when Outlander began, when she started writing Outlander in 90-something. A lot of publishers don't do as much marketing as they used to. And they might do like 1%. If they're a big publisher, one of the traditional publishers, one of the big 6, that I think is like 3 now because they've like sort of merged. 99% of the marketing and promotion today is left to the author themselves. And that stuff, having a social media presence, doing the book signings, doing the events, that's all left on, a lot of the time, the author themselves. So that is all part of her job that is not actually butt in chair, hands on keyboard. Oh, and she's also a human being who's married and has a life outside of work, outside of writing the book. As well, she should, because if you're the kind of person who, like anyone who is stuck like at their job 24/7, apparently, because that's what these fans seem to think she should be doing, if you don't have a life balance, you're gonna be outside in the middle of the night in your PJs chasing squirrels with the chainsaw because you lost your fucking mind. So she needs those breaks. She needs that part of her life to exist. And you might see these authors who release like 3-4 books a year, sometimes more. Again, these are not the 800, 900, 1,000 word massive bricks that Diana writes. These are like sometimes like 200-word novellas, 300 to maybe 400-word novels. Or your Nora Roberts, who is, I think, the most prolific author in the universe. I mean, this woman does not sleep. And that's her pace. That's great. You know, Lenora, we bow. We bow. But not everyone is Nora Roberts. Not everyone writes at that pace. Not everyone has her system of writing. And again, I don't believe that Nora Roberts sits in her chair for 24 hours just churning out books. No, she has a system that works for her in where she writes however many words she writes a day, and she has her life, her home life that every human being needs, or again, PJ's squirrel chainsaw. And she's able to, that's the system that works for her. For myself, I will admit, I am a lazy damn writer. This past year, I released nothing. And I'm still mad at myself about that. The discipline, it's a constant work. You constantly have to work at it. And you have these Outlander fans who are just, they feel like they seem so entitled. It takes time to write these books. And with that, you work in like the marketing part of it. You work in like your own like home life away from your computer. And let me tell you something. Little thing that you may not be aware of. We'll put a pin in Nora Roberts because I think the woman is a robot who does not sleep. Apart from her, for, I would say, 70% of these authors that you see who release 3, 4, 5 books a year. Secret. Let me tell you a little secret. Come here. They don't write the books. They're not writing the books. What happened is, there's these sites who offer freelance ghostwriting services. And these authors hire a certain amount of different ghostwriters to actually write the books for them. And then this author slaps their name on the book and rakes in the dough. So this author will hire like 3 ghostwriters to actually write the book. You can go on freelance writing sites and see that these services are available. And they hire someone, they give them the plot. Sometimes they don't even do that. Sometimes they just say, I want a romance novel with this kind of heat level, like erotic or sweet or what have you. And then the ghostwriter does the actual writing for them, hands in the manuscript to this author. The author publishes it and rakes in the money. And that's how that author releases 3, 4, 5 books a year. As far as I know, Nora Roberts does not do that. Because, believe me, I think we would have found out by now if Nora Roberts was ghostwriting her books. That would have come out, believe me. And I think we can, I'm like 100% sure that Diana Gabaldon does not have somebody ghostwriting her books. Otherwise, you'd have like 17 Outlander novels by now. So, back off is what I'm basically trying to say with this video. It'll take as long as it takes. And something that she mentioned that I think is very important to understand. When she finishes the book, that does not mean that's when the book's going to come out. Because that's, in some ways, that's where self-publishing and Amazon and all that have an advantage over traditional publishing. Because when a traditionally published writer finishes a book, they submit it to the publisher, and let's say they submit it to the publisher in, let's say, June. So Diana Gabaldon tells you that the book is finished, it's June, it's done. That doesn't mean that you're going to be able to buy the book in June, or July, or August, or September, or October, or November, or December. The wait time between when a manuscript is finished and when it is published, that block of time could be up to a year, sometimes 2. So it's not done yet, and when it is done, you're still gonna have to wait, because publishing schedules are a thing. She might have 20 authors in front of her that have release dates with her publisher before they get to her. Now, granted, the demand for the book certainly will help in when it's released and that kind of thing. But publishing schedules are a thing. So, you may think that you're being, you know, like you're sharing your excitement, and you're giving the author like encouragement to finish their book, and giving them an ego boost or what have you, to know that you're waiting for their book. And in theory, that's a nice thing. But when every time you post, and this happens every time, she could be posting something that has nothing to do with the book, which, FYI, is still promotion, is still marketing, because part of her job is being visible on social media. I can tell you, as an author, I'm on social media 90% of anything I post has nothing to do with the book I'm writing. But on the occasions that I do post about my book, sales. Sales. Why? Because there's nothing more to turn a reader off than constantly posting about your book, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. That's not how you get readers. You write the book, and then you let the reader get to know you as a person, and you market yourself, your interests, things you like, shows you like to watch, other books you like to read, interesting things that are happening to you that day, funny jokes, all that stuff is part of your job as an author. And honestly, a lot of that extra stuff you need, because you need to make social media fun for you as an author. Otherwise, PJ's chainsaw squirrel. So, let her be is what I'm hoping to get across here. Every time she posts, she lets you know, no, it's not done yet, I'll tell you when it's done. So let her tell you when it's done. And give her some leeway, give her some time to not only get it done, but get it published. Because, again, with self-publishing in Amazon, we have a little bit of like a leg up from traditional publishers, because traditional publishers have publishing schedules that they need to stick to. Independent authors, we don't necessarily have that. We can like promote like, oh, like I'm releasing this book on a certain day. For me, I can say I'm releasing a book on a certain day. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. And the same thing with traditional publishers too. They can like give like an approximate release date. That's going to change. That's going to change. Because life. But for independent publishing authors, we can sort of, as soon as we finish it, finish the manuscript, edit it, send it to an editor, hopefully, because hopefully you're not the only one editing your work, because yeesh. And then in like a relatively shorter amount of time, you can get it up on Amazon, and it's good and it's done. Traditional publishers take a lot longer than that. So, again, ease up on the woman. Ease up on the woman. She will let you know when Bees is done. She'll probably get ass backwards drunk on the day that, that Bees is finally done, because I tell you, after reading one of her massive tomes, I feel like I need a drink, because you've been on a journey, a long mother-ass journey. So I can't even imagine the exhaustion and the like just release of typing that final, the end. Yeah. So, please stop. Please stop telling her what her job is, because you don't know what her job is. Her job is not just writing the book. Yeah, so, I think that's going to be it for this week's video. I just really wanted to get that off my chest, because I saw a lot of rude, entitled, thunderous twats posting on the social medias about Diana sort of clapping back at people who are constantly harping on her to finish the book. She's a human being. She's not a robot. She deserves to have a life away from her computer. And just like you have your job, but you're not chained to your office, your computer, your cash register, your factory work 24/7. You get to go home. You get to take a break. You get to leave. You get to have a life outside of your work. And so should Diana Gabaldon. Back the frack off. And that's going to be it for this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie, where I usually only post about one of my books once a day at night. And I sell more books using social media than any other venue, any other, like, way. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye! Bye!